Hey, what's going on, everyone? Gabriel here. Welcome to another episode of Koala RC. Today we're going to be working on a new build that I have kind of been hinting at a little bit here and there, both on YouTube Shorts and on my TikTok. The actual chassis that we're going to be working with is going to be this one right here. So this is a Buggy fabrication all-in-one or one-piece chassis. Thought this looked really, really cool. And to go with it, I did print this. So this is the Buggy Fab Canyon Crawler cage buggy that you can download for free from their website. And I went ahead and I painted it an aluminum color, just to give it a more metallic look. And then for the panels, I took a monster can and cut out some pieces that fit the panels, just so it gives it, now it has that metallic shine, metal shine. It looks like actual metal. I mean, it is actually aluminum panels. This is the cutout for the hood that I need to glue to the 3D printed hood. Some of the parts that I'm gonna use on it, the all new Little Guy Racing Parts Super 8 V2 axles. All right, so just got these in a couple days ago. These things look awesome. I didn't get a chance to use the V1s at all, but I did hear a lot of good things about them. So from what they've said, they did make a couple of changes to the V2 axles that are supposed to help them perform better. Again, I don't really have a benchmark to show that against the V1s, but I'll take their word for it. From what I've experienced personally, LGRP, or Little Guy Racing Parts, has continuously made very quality products, so I'm not super worried in that aspect. These are probably going to be the widest axles that I've ever used. It's not their widest axles that they make. They do make Spider 9s, but the Super 8s refer to the track width that they allow you to have on your vehicle. So it's 8 millimeters wider than your standard stock axle that comes on the SCX24. So a relatively wide axle and a wide wheel, not wheelbase, but a wide track width that should keep it from rolling over easy. LGRP trimmer, blue servo. I do have Mias brass links. I believe these are JLU wheelbase. Endura 39 millimeter big bore oil filled, 40 millimeter, sorry, big bore oil filled shocks. The Trial drive shafts. For the wheels, we are going to be using the LGRP 1552 Turbo Mac HDs in black. And if you can see, we do have a little gold bolt in there, or screw, just to kind of pop a little more. I am going to be running this little guy. So this is the, again, just to kind of match the theme, the LGRP blue transmission. And to go with that, I'm either going to run this guy right here, Endura Purple Viper. Normally I use the Fat Vipers, but I wanted the motor and transmission to have a little bit of a smaller footprint inside the buggy. Probably going to be using the Endura MBL32 G2 ESC. That's pretty much everything that's going to be going on the buggy as far as the build goes. I'm not going to record the whole thing, but let me know down below if you do want to see a complete build video. I'd be more than happy to record one. Thanks so much. We'll see you, or we'll see each other when it's done. All right, hey, what's going on, everyone? I was finally able to find time to come out to crawl the buggy. So here is the pretty much all wrapped up finished product for you. This thing looks awesome. So I made a few changes as opposed to what I originally said I was going to have on it. One of the things I changed was the tires. I went with the 57 millimeter black labels. I just feel like they looked a little bit better. And these I've had extremely good luck with on the rock. Another thing I switched up, if we go ahead and take the body, oh, well, this is the body really quick. I want to show you that. So got the monster panels all glued in, nice and installed. I went ahead and got a purple 0-calorie Monster can and cut that up. It had some really cool designs. So this one has, you have a, I don't know if you could tell, you have a lizard, or what's the, I know the name of his lizard. Iguana? Is it an iguana? No. Dang. I'll figure it out. It'll be right here. But it did have a bunch of different animals. I might make another cage with just this can specifically, because obviously the white monster has a lot of cool, almost like tribal designs on it. But this one, I like the way it looked with the yellow grass and foliage, and then the darker purple outlines for the animals and stuff like that. So we'll see. But the cage came out extremely nicely. Really like the way it looks, especially the hood, the way the monster logo kind of sits there, offset. But back to the actual build, sorry. So we did go with the Furatech Micro Komodo, and we also swapped out the MBL32G2 for the Quick Run Mini 24. I didn't really have to. I preferred going with this one just because I already have the program card that goes with the Hobbywing products, and because I mounted the motor rear facing, because I couldn't fit the motor with this front plate right here on the chassis. I would have rather done that, but I couldn't. Because I mounted it this way, I had to reverse the motor rotation, and I was only able to do that with the program card that I have for that ESC right there. So maybe later on down the line, if I can either modify the chassis or get the program card for the Endura, then maybe I'll swap back. But I've always had really good luck with these ESCs, so I have no issues running this at all. Other than that, everything else is pretty much the same. You got the blue servo. I did see that people are showing what number servo they got, and I don't know if you could see, but I did get number 73. 73 right there. And then if you could see up front here, we do have those Spider 8 V2 axles from LGRP installed, and these things are actually pretty awesome. Super nice machining, very nice design, nice smooth bottom, so in case you go over anything, it should slide right over. Same thing with the rear. I did not get an included link riser, so I did have to kind of pull one from one of my Mios axles, but it fits perfectly fine. So if I can, I'll order that if they sell it separately. If not, I'll just stick with this and get another one for the axles I took this one from. But it sits nice and wide. I love the stance on this thing. Again, this is the widest axle that I've used, and the way it sits. Oh, I was able to kind of modify the body mounts also. So I just drilled holes that matched the holes on the cage, and it worked out really well. Again, loving the way this thing is looking. I don't have a lot of time, so let's go ahead and get it out on the rocks. That servo is super quiet also. Okay. All right, y'all, so we're gonna go ahead and start here again. This is one of the same lines that we've seen before on the channel, and I'll run you through it as we drive the trucks just so I don't waste time, but you'll recognize it. We do have a super smooth slow crawl using that billet transmission with the Micro Komodo attached to it. Really loving the way that this thing is driving. I don't want to get caught on this rebar here, so I'm trying to avoid it. Do get a very nice steering angle out of these axles also, so you can make these super tight turns and just so much clearance with this cage. I'm actually super happy about doing a buggy build this time around. I don't know. No, we're getting caught. There we go. We've always had a little bit of trouble on this line from previous builds. And one of the things I think we might struggle with a little bit, oh, maybe not, is just the weight. This is not a very heavy build at all. And just because, no. Got a little bit of liftage there, but yep, that was pretty easy. Here we are at Fred the Frog's Valley. Again, Fred is nowhere to be seen. Never started from up here before, but we're gonna go ahead and try it out and see how the buggy does. We're getting a little bit of jitter out of the, I don't know if it's the gear ratio or if it's just the transmission on those descents. So that might be something we have to look into later on. But once it's planted, I mean, it's smooth sailing. Yep. These slippery rocks. Come on, there we go. Struggled a little bit on that one, but that's a pretty significant transition. There's not really anything to grab onto. And one of the things, again, this is not a super heavy build. I didn't get any of the brass knuckles or brass weights that can be installed with these specific axles. It's just the aluminum axles housings. That's pretty much it. And the aluminum knuckles that come stock on it. So for what it is, there's not too much front weight bias. Most of the weight is inside the cage, like the cab, I guess you could call it. So for that being the case, I think it's still performing extremely well. All right, y'all, final thoughts on the monster buggy is what we'll call it. I like this thing a lot. Again, my first buggy build, and I'm obviously not a pro at putting these things together, tuning and stuff like that, but for what it is, I think it's done an amazing job on just, our pretty standard crawl spot. There's not much else to say now. There is some things that I do still want to do. Obviously put more weight on the front, but this thing, it's doing great so far. I haven't driven it that much, maybe about 15 minutes total at this point, and I'm stoked with how it's done so far. And you've seen, I'm not a pro crawler. I'm not very good at driving the little ones. It's still kind of a learning curve for me, but it's doing pretty good in my opinion. The axles,
I think are awesome. Again, I'm not like a benchmark guru or anything like that, but compared to the Mias axles, which do add 5 millimeters to the track width of your vehicle, and these add 8, I'm loving the wide stance of the Buggy specifically. I'm not super crazy about adding really wide axles to scale builds, just because I feel like it does take away from the scale factor. But on something like this, the aesthetic fits perfectly. Honestly, I really do think it fits extremely well, because buggies, if you're trying to crawl a buggy, it does ideally need to be wide. So as far as that goes, the axles are great. The blue servo, the tremor servo, and the blue transmission are great additions to something like this. And like I said earlier, that was the main reason why I wanted to keep this with a buggy body or cage, because I wanted those parts to be exposed, and I think they just add so much character to the build itself. And I feel like this is going to be one of those builds that I actually want to get out and drive. I'm also pretty big advocate of Monster energy drinks, 0 calories specifically. I don't drink those green ones anymore. Nah. And so I kind of just wanted to build something that kind of encompassed one of the things that I like a lot. So there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Just helps me out. We're almost like touching 200 subscribers, and it happened really quick from when we reached 100 not too long ago, maybe about 2 months at this point. So I really appreciate all of you that have subscribed. Sorry it's taken me so long to put this video out. I think at this point it's been about 3 going on 4 weeks now, so I apologize for that. I've been trying to supplement my lack of uploading with some shorts, but even that's been kind of dwindling. So again, I apologize, but thank you to those of you who have subscribed thus far. I really appreciate it, and it does not go unnoticed. We do have some more content coming. I have more trucks coming. SCX30 should be here in a few days, so I'm stoked about that. And I do still need to finish up the Ascent 32 unboxing and review video for you, and that'll be up extremely soon as well. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you like this build, or if you've built a buggy before, and if you haven't, highly recommend you try it out because it's pretty cool. I'll leave a link down below to the LGRP Super 8 V2 axles. That way you can go ahead and snag a pair for yourself if you're interested in that. Yeah, I'll leave a link to majority of the parts on this build if you're interested in checking them out. Again, most of them are from LGRP, or chassis and cage, Robski fabrication. So pretty easy to find, but just for your ease of use, I'll drop those links down below. Have a great rest of your day.